Video games, an industry built on imagination and innovation. But every epic adventure has a beginning. Today, we're rewinding the clock to explore how it all started. This is the origin story of video games. The history of video game origins. Video games, a realm of creativity, competition, and connection, have become one of the most influential forms of entertainment in the world today. But where did this journey begin? To understand the origins of video games, we must travel back to the mid-20th century, to an era when computing was in its infancy and entertainment was far removed from the digital realm. It all starts in 1947 with a device called the cathode ray tube amusement device. Patented by Thomas T. Goldsmith Jr. and Cecil Ray Mann, this was essentially a missile simulation game that used knobs and a cathode ray tube to allow players to control a dot representing a missile aimed at targets. While it lacked what we'd call graphics today, it planted the seed for interactive electronic entertainment. Fast forward to the 1950s, and the groundwork for modern video games was being laid in academic institutions. One notable milestone was Tennis for Two, created in 1958 by physicist William Higginbotham. Designed for display on an oscilloscope, this game was one of the first to incorporate interactive gameplay. Players used controllers to hit a simulated tennis ball back and forth on the screen. Higginbotham, however, saw it merely as a fun demonstration of technology, unaware of the industry it would one day inspire. The 1960s brought another leap forward. In 1962, MIT students led by Steve Russell developed Spacewar. Running on a PDP-1 computer, Spacewar featured two spaceships battling against each other while navigating a central gravitational field. It became the first widely distributed video game, shared among computer science departments at universities. Though it was never commercialized, it was a significant step toward creating a culture of gaming. It was in the 1970s that the video game industry truly began to take shape. In 1971, Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney created Computer Space, the first commercially sold video game. It didn't perform well due to its complexity, but the lessons learned paved the way for their next venture. In 1972, they founded Atari, a name that would become synonymous with video games. Their first major success, Pong, a simple yet addictive table tennis game, became a cultural phenomenon. With its release, video games began to move from academic institutions to arcades and, eventually, homes. The mid-1970s saw the introduction of home gaming consoles, starting with the Magnavox Odyssey in 1972. Created by Ralph Baer, often called the father of video games, the Odyssey was a primitive system that relied on overlays for television screens and lacked sound, but it brought video gaming into living rooms for the first time. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, the arcade era was in full swing. Classics like Space Invaders, 1978, Pac-Man, 1980, and Donkey Kong, 1981, dominated arcades and became cultural icons. These games introduced new mechanics, memorable characters, and even storytelling elements that would become staples in the industry. Meanwhile, the home console market grew rapidly with systems like the Atari 2600, which brought arcade hits to players at home. However, the industry's rapid growth wasn't without setbacks. By 1983, the video game market in North America crashed, due to an oversaturation of poorly made games and the rise of personal computers. Titles like the infamous E.T. the Extraterrestrial and a flood of low-quality products undermined consumer confidence. But this wasn't the end, it was the start of a transformation. The late 1980s ushered in the golden age of gaming. Companies like Nintendo, led by visionary game designer Shigeru Miyamoto, revitalized the industry with iconic titles like Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda. Sega also entered the scene, introducing competition and innovation with games like Sonic the Hedgehog. The 16-bit era soon followed, pushing graphical capabilities and storytelling to new heights. From these humble beginnings, video games have evolved into a multi-billion-dollar industry. What started as simple experiments with oscilloscopes and computer code has become an art form, blending storytelling, music, and technology. Today, whether you're solving puzzles on your smartphone, exploring vast open worlds on a console, or engaging in virtual reality adventures, every moment can trace its lineage back to those early pioneers who dared to turn science into play. So, next time you pick up a controller or tap on your screen, remember, you're part of a legacy that spans decades, a legacy of imagination, ingenuity, and the enduring power of play. From humble beginnings to limitless adventures, video games have come so far, and there's still more to come. Thanks for watching, and remember, whether you're gaming or living, always live life as you choose.